This conference will now be recorded.
Very good evening to everyone present for today's session. So let's start the session for today. I hope all of you have logged into your Tally software and have opened your books of accounts, company's books of accounts. So for us, please log in if you have not logged in. We can start off the session. Yes. Now come. I hope the previous sessions uh, carry clarity of all the concepts which have been discussed so far, starting from the first session till the Friday session. So today we are going to start up with the receipt voucher. We have done with the contra voucher and payment voucher, and now we are going to start off with the receipt voucher, which is the third voucher in your Tally software. Okay, so let me discuss with you, and before that, let me share the screen with you. Yes. This is what I was talking about the receipt voucher. The function key for receipt voucher is F6. F4 is contra, F5 is the payment voucher, and F6 is the receipt voucher. Right? So simple. Now, how a payment voucher is used to record the payment of the business transactions, the business expenses, right? In the same way, a receipt voucher is utilized, okay, to mark or to record the receipt of business source of, I mean, the business source of income, not the other sources, only which are pertaining to the business. So the amount received for any business transaction should be recorded in this voucher. So contra voucher is used to mark the cash and the bank based entries only. When I talk about the payment voucher, it is used to record the payment of business related expenses. Coming to the receipt voucher, to record the receipt of business source of income. Now, the syntax for the receipt voucher is, it is similar to your contra voucher. Now, in your contra voucher, your credit appears first and then the debit appears. In the same way, in the receipt voucher, the credit appears first and then the debit. The credit is the source of income. So, what is the source? The nature of income. Is it rent received or commission received, or any amount? Sale of furniture, sale proceeds of furniture, and in which form it is being received, or if it is being deposited into the bank. That clarity has to be given in the debit aspect of your journal entry, where I've given you either cash or either bank. Okay, so that clarity you will certainly get when I start with the entries now. So main is how the syntax appears, what you should know here, where your credit appears first and then is your debit aspect. So if I talk about the payment voucher, what is the scenario? First comes is your debit and then is your credit. Okay, so let's go for it. Let's go for the receipt voucher. Are you all ready so that we can start up the entries? Yes, or you are still logging in? Okay. Right. So let's start with the session. Right. Now we have a couple of entries for receipt voucher. Yes. So I've given you three practical exercises for receipt vouchers. The first one says company has received rent of 5,000, commission of 5,000. So it has got two receipts. One rent, second is commission, and both are being received by cash. So in cash form, we have two receipts. One is rent and second is commission. And both are being received for which branch of the business? It is for the JP Nagar branch. And the amount received by cash form is deposited into the bank, nothing but company's bank. I'll repeat again. I've given the entry as received rent at 5,000, commission of rupees 5,000 by cash for JP Nagar branch. Company has received two payments. One is rent and second is commission. Both are valued at 5,000 each, and both are being received in the cash form. And for which branch it is being received? For JP Nagar branch. And this amount received is deposited into the company's bank account. So this particular entry, how we are going to put up in the receipt voucher is what we are going to see. Okay, hope the transaction is clear. Okay, so how we will treat the same in the uh, receipt voucher, we will see the tally. Okay, but what is the journal entry we are going to pass for this transaction is what we are going to see first. Okay, so anyone has an answer for this? How would you put up the entry? Now I'll give you a small hint. Uh, let's assume that now we had started off with the depositing of 5,000 rupees into ICICI Bank, and we have done several payments from that. Let's assume that for this, in our case, for our company, ICICI Bank is a company's bank account, the official bank account. Okay, so ICICI Bank is the company's bank account through which all transaction takes place, either payments, receipts, fund transfers, etc. Right? So let's assume that ICICI Bank is our company's bank account. So just add that ICICI Bank here, and I put up in the brackets as company's bank account. Okay. So then you have further clarity about that. Yes. So how would we put up the entry here? Let me go back. Yes. So I just put up the uh, I put up the entry with a small explanation. Right. So this is the entry we are seeing here, right? So for the same, how will I put up the this one transaction? Yes. So I say I have received rent, I have received commission. Now both are receipts, source of income. Now what is the syntax I have given you for receipt voucher? That credit appears first and then debit appears next. So what do I do is the credit aspect appears first and then we have the debit. So the credit aspect is we have two business source of incomes. One is commission, one is this one. So now we relate rent received and commission received to which type of account. I'm not asking about the group. Type of account. Is it personal? Is it real? Is it normal? Rent received and commission received. Under which account would you categorize rent received and commission received? Is it personal, real, or normal? So accordingly, you should tell me whether it has to be debited or credited. Both these ledgers. Yes. Can I have the answer from your side? So Diksha says, Julie, it is a nominal account. Fine. Now, accordingly, if you apply the golden rule of nominal account, rent received and commission received should be debited or credited. Very good. Rayana, it has to be credited. Credit the incomes and gains. Debit all the expenses and losses. Credit all the incomes and gains. So accordingly, we will put up here that it will be rent received The amount is 5,000. And again, followed by one more source of business income, that is commission received. So this is again. Now, since we have received both by cash and the cash receipts have been deposited into the bank, according to you, which should come? Is it? It should be your debit should be cash or it should be ICICI Bank. This answer I want. The debit aspect should be either ICICI Bank or it should be cash. Let me put up the entry for you again. Yes. Now you tell me we have received both by cash form, and as an accountant, I can't read it in the same form, right? Whatever funds I receive or receipts I have of my companies, I have to deposit the same into the company's bank account. But the debit aspect should be what? Is it bank or is it cash? As per you all. Yes? Yes. None of you know the answer for the same? Cash, okay, then contra. But how can it be contra, Ravana? It will become contra says only cash and bank. But I have already recorded rent and commission received, right? It can't become a contra. We have received both by cash, but the same I have deposited into the bank. So just let me see who is going to give me this classic reply. So my debit aspect should be either cash or it should be bank. ICICI Bank. Company's bank. At the 1 minute, then I'll give the answer. Yes. No answers. Only one. Fine. Then I'll give you the reply. See, here clearly understand transaction. I say I have received rent and commission of 5,000 each, and I have received in the cash form. For which branch? J branch. And the same 10,000 amount I have deposited into the company's bank. So here the question lies in my debit aspect, should I put up cash or should I put ICICI? Now if I put cash, but how do I declare that I have deposited to the ICICI? Please unmute. Please mute yourself. Mohammed Afshan, I think. Please mute yourself. Don't unmute unnecessarily. If you want to respond, you unmute. Okay. So yeah. So I was discussing about the entry here. Now, this how will I crack? So I'll give you the reply. Your debit aspect should be ICICI Bank. It should not be cash, because both the amount which I have received in the cash form, I'm going to deposit in my company's bank account, which is ICICI Bank. But where do I reflect that I have received in the cash form? You will see here. Okay. So let me complete the entry here. It should be ICICI. So this is how your transaction should be reflected in your receipt voucher in this way. Okay. So your credit aspect should be credit rent received 5, commission received 5, deposited totally 10,000 into the ICICI Bank. Question mark is where do I give a clarity that I have received in the cash form? Okay, let's see in the Tally software. So let me go back to the Tally. Okay, I'll go. All of you, please go to vouchers under transactions and press F6. Okay, in case if you have forgotten, whenever you're using the function keys, make sure you take that FN key with you and you press both together. That is FN and F6 together. Don't press only F6, F7, F8. You go to the brightness, volume. You know what are the consequences. So you're going to go to the receipt voucher by pressing F6. Now how I have given the entry here, the same way you have to put up. Okay. Now yes. So here in the list of ledgers, we don't have rent received, rather we have rent paid. So we have to create the ledger, right? So I'll go to the create option. I'll give the name of the ledger as a rent receipt. Now rent receipt will come under which group as per you. So what is the group which you would give for rent receipt? Yes, it should be yes. Indirect income, type of ledger not applicable, cost centers are applicable, you have to make it as yes. Why? Because I have intentionally given that as JP Nagar branch. So there's a branch wise allocation of expense and income. So henceforth you have to activate the cost center. So cost centers are applicable should be yes. The other details. GST you can just turn down as not applicable. Even though if you leave it also, it's fine. It should not be an issue. This is how you're going to create the ledger. Rent received will come under the group of indirect incomes. Cost center should be activated. The rest you need not activate it. Okay, so once you create this ledger, press Ctrl A to save your ledger. Okay, so what is the total amount of rent received? It is 5,000 rupees. Type 5,000 and press enter. You come to the cost allocation window. Okay, now here you have to give that mention here that for JP Nagar branch you have received the rent. Okay, so what you're going to do is press space bar. Okay, and I have told you a couple of times whenever there's a prompt action there, please press use the space bar to get the list. It could be list of categories, list of what do you say, anything, anyone, a list of transaction types for bank allocations like that. So I got the list of categories. Now here I have to select Bangalore as the cost category, and under Bangalore, it should be JP Nagar. So again, I press the space bar. Oh yeah, I'm not having JP Nagar here. I'm having Jayanagar 4th block, Kormangla and Vasant Nagar. So can you see there above, there's an option of create here. Okay. So what you can do is, you can select that create option. Okay. And now, please be very careful. I hope you're going along with me. Press the space bar, select Bangalore, and here give it as JP Nagar. If you want, you can just mention as fourth phase because it has many stages. So it's under primary. Enter. This is how you have. This is how you have to get. Okay, right. So now I'll go back to the screen. Yes, JP Nagar fourth phase 5,000 rupees. Press enter. Again press enter. Yes. Now we have one more source of income. Yes. So your DR is prompting now. So you have to convert, change that DR to CR. So what you do is you type the CR and press enter. And here again you're going to give commission receipt. So I'll go to the create option again. Okay, direct it comes. Again cost center yes. GST not added. Accept yes. Accept yes. So again it is 5,000 rupees. Press enter. The same procedure. Already you have created JP Nagar, right? So again you need not create it. Bangalore. Again space bar. It should be JP Nagar. That's it. And debit it is ICICI. This is how you using the cost category and cost center, depicting showing that it is just for this particular branch we have received the income or we have also paid the expenses. This is how we use these cost categories and cost centers as well as complete the journal entry to mark the receipt of both the sources of income, that is rent received and commission receipt. Now again that last point is there. Where do I give a clarity that I have received in the cash flow? The all the other things I've done. What we have received, rent and commission, where we have deposited into the bank. But how we have received, where I can give the clarity. So I just press enter now. I come to the bank allocation window. Now bank allocation window, okay, here please carefully observe. Ledger name, the first one it is we have received rent. Now in which form we have received? We haven't received in the check form. We have received in the cash form. So can you see that prompt action there again on the check or DD? So what is the key we are going to use here again? It is the space bar. So I select, press on the space bar, and if you can observe, I'm having check or DD, e-fund transfer and others. Still, I don't have a clarity that I have received the cash flow. So what do I do is, if you can see the option of show more towards the right hand side of your screen, the transaction types list. So just press enter on show more, enter, yes. This is here you can see that ATM is there, card is there, cash is there. Okay. So I select cash. This is where we give a clarity that we have received rent in the form of cash, mode of receipt of payment. And please be very careful. It is showing as 10, but what is the actual amount of rent received? It is only 5,000. So what you're going to do is you're going to change the amount here. You can just overwrite it. Need not press delete, backspace. Not required to be done. Okay, see, I'll just type 5. I will just type 5. The old amount will rule out. See, that's it. So I'll type 5,000 and press enter. Since I have received in the cash form, there is no question of giving the check number, bank name, and all that. It is not required. So just keep on, you can just press enter and come step down. Now, the problem is again it is showing as rent receipt, but the other source of income is commission. So we have to make the changes over there. So, how do I go back and change? What is the key I can use for this? Now it is showing again as rent received. Now you have to change from rent to commission. What key can I use here in this case? I have to go back and correct it. So what is the key I can use to make the necessary changes without using my mouse? Yes. Anybody has a reply for that? I have to go back and change. Very good. It is backspace, Julie. So I will use the backspace and I get the list of ledgers. So here I will swap from rent received to commission received. So I press enter on commission received. Yeah, I've made the correction. And again, commission is also received in the cash form. So again, I go to show more, press enter on show more. Again, here I will select as cash. Yes, press enter, enter, come back to the main screen. Being rent and commission received for JP Nagar branch in cash deposited into the bank. This is how in one entry you give clarity of both. How are we receiving and where are we depositing the receipts? And instead of passing two vouchers, contra and receipt, I will use only one voucher and I'll give the clarity for both. This transaction is a very important one. Almost all the transactions are important, but this gives you a wider clarity, I can say, where we take two things, consider two things in one voucher. Okay, this is how you can put up the voucher. Accept, please. I hope all of you have got the first entry. Yes, are you able to do it? Shh. So we'll go on to the next entry. Fine. Yes. Now the next entry says, let me remove the highlighted one here. Now the next entry says in receipt voucher, Vinod introduced 6 lakh into the business by giving or by issuing the HDFC bank check. Vinod is one of the partners who has introduced 6 lakh into the business by issuing a HDFC bank check. Yes. So you can think for 1 or 2 minutes and can you give a reply for this? What kind of an entry is this? And how would you frame the journal entry for this? I'm not asking you to pass the entry in receipt. I will guide you for that. But according to you, what would be the journal entry for the same? How would you draft for the same? Or you can also unmute yourself and you can answer me. Not an issue. Let me put up the transaction.
Ma'am,
Yes, pa.
ma'am, actually, I had a network issue because of which I missed one small part, ma'am. That was
Yes, pa. Tell me. Hmm.
after rent receipt. There, you have put the Bangalore JP Nagar branch, no, ma'am. The Bangalore
Yes,
one
pa.
below rent receipt, ma'am. I have
Correct.
missed only that part, ma'am. Can you show me how did you get that, ma'am? That process.
Okay, I'll just show you the entry again. You can just check back.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
Okay. The others can just think upon the entry. We know they introduced 6 lakh into the business. So how do I frame the journal entry for the same? Yes, but you can just see the entry. I'll just open the daybook and I'll just show the entry. Yes. See, you put up rent received, you get 5,000 there. Moment you press enter, okay, you come to the cost allocation window. Did you come to the cost allocation window there and did you select Bangalore there?
Um,
You tell me
ma'am,
currently on this screen. Yeah.
yeah, ma'am, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yes.
Ma'am, I am in the uh, voucher voucher creation, ma'am.
Yes.
There receipt under receipt, rent received, current balance 5,000, ma'am. If I press enter, I'm getting credit again, ma'am.
You're not getting that cost allocation window.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So currently on the receipt voucher, is it?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Stay there, stay there. So what you're going to do is press Alt G, ma. Alt G.
Yeah, ma'am.
You get that go to screen. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Got it.
Yeah, and here can you see above you have Alter Master?
Yes, ma'am.
Press enter on the Alter Master.
Yeah, ma'am.
You are in the master alteration window. Now here go to the ledger. Press
Yes,
enter
ma'am.
on ledger. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
can
ma'am.
you see the rent received is there?
Rent receipt. No, ma'am.
Which you have created.
After clicking on the lecture, I got lecture creation now. Table now.
You have to be very conscious when I'm telling you. You should not go. See, you should be in the master alteration window above. You see here in my screen,
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. List of master, ma'am.
not list of masters. Bar above you see here. I'm showing you. You should be in the master alteration window, not the
Yeah,
master
ma'am. Yes.
creation.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So I'll repeat again. Please observe. Alt G. There you have alter master. If you go to create master, it is a gone case. You have to recreate the ledger. You already created,
Yeah, ma'am.
right? Rent receipt.
Yes, ma'am.
If you already created rent receipt ledger, you have to go to alter master. If you have not created, you have to go to create master.
Yes, ma'am.
So what? You have created or not created?
I have created now.
Okay. If you have created already, then you have to go to alter master and press
Yes,
enter.
ma'am.
Okay. Once you press
Yeah.
enter, you go to the master alteration window screen
Yeah, ma'am.
here above you. Have you got the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now there you can see ledger here under group you have ledger.
Yes, ma'am.
Press enter on that. Do you get the list of ledgers here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there, do you get rent receipt which you have created?
Yes, ma'am.
Now press enter.
Yes, ma'am.
Now
Click
you
now.
now your ledger creation screen is opened at this actually ledger alteration window.
Yes, ma'am.
Now check that have you created under the group of indirect income.
Yes, ma'am. Indirect income.
Type of ledger should be not applicable. Below that, are you getting this feature of cost centers are applicable?
No, ma'am.
You're not getting this feature. Cost centers are
No,
applicable
ma'am.
as yes. You're not getting fine. But had you created cost categories and cost centers in the previous sessions?
Yes, ma'am. I created, ma'am.
Fine. If you have created, then what you're going to do is, can you see in the right hand side of your screen on the vertical button bar, you have below configure there, F12 configure.
Yes, ma'am.
Click on that configure. Did you get this
Yes, ma'am.
configuration window? Okay.
Yes,
Now
ma'am. Yeah,
here,
ma'am.
under general details, can you see there apply cost centers for ledgers? See, I've highlighted your see.
Uh,
Apply cost
apply.
centers for ledgers.
No, ma'am.
It will be there. Otherwise, you do one thing. Above, you have show more configurations and show all configurations. Both have to be yes, yes.
It's no, ma'am. For me, show more configurations. No, ma'am.
So you make it as yes.
Okay.
And show all configurations also, yes.
That option is not there. Oh yeah,
Come
got it, ma'am.
first.
Yes,
So
yes.
apply cost centers for ledgers. It will come now, see there under general details.
um, I clicked. I changed it to yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And then
Have you changed it?
I still
Huh.
get the apply cost.
One second, one second. Now, show more configurations will be yes. Show all configurations will be yes. After that,
Yes, ma'am.
under general details, you have the features. See, I've put up the feature here. Apply cost centers for ledgers. This should be yes for you.
That option still didn't come, ma'am.
No, it will come provided you have activated your cost categories and cost centers. Yeah, 101% it has to come. Why? Because see, only when I activate the cost categories and cost centers, this feature will appear. It has to appear. Or you can do one thing. The last option.
Yeah,
Press Alt G again.
yeah,
Alt
ma'am.
G. Go to Create Master. Go to Create Master.
Yeah, ma'am.
Press Enter on Create Master. Okay. Now,
Yes,
are you
ma'am.
in the master creation window?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, under Accounting Masters, you have Group Ledger. Do you find cost category in your screen?
Yes, ma'am. Cost
Yes,
category.
sir.
Wait. No, ma'am.
No, or
Cost
yes.
category is not there, ma'am.
But that
No,
you I
ma'am.
got you got your answer, no? Which means you have not activated. As simple as that. See,
Oh,
I'll tell you one thing. Every step what we take to work in the Tally software are all interconnected. It is not only for you I'm addressing, it is for all the students. You might think, hey, if I don't activate this, fine, it's fine. If I ignore it, works. No. It's like, nerves in our body, any one here or there, anything goes wrong. Since everything is interconnected, it'll affect. So what you if you don't activate it's one feature, it will impact the others, so you have to be very careful when you're working in the Tally software. Okay, so
yeah.
now what you're going
Yeah,
to do is quickly go to show mode. Don't waste your time. Go to show mode. Above, can you see the show mode?
yeah, ma'am.
Press enter on that. Again, you go to
Yes,
show
ma'am.
inactive.
Yes, ma'am.
Press enter on show inactive. And can you see the cost category is there? It will be light in your screen. It will be inactive.
Yes, ma'am.
So press enter on that. You get a question. Do you want to create new or alter the existing one?
Yes, ma'am.
Go to create new.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, do you get the cost category creation window?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, got it, ma'am.
Huh. So now you need not, if you want, you can create there, or you can also create it on spot. Okay. Are you in the cost
Yeah.
category creation window?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you're going to do is quickly you're going to create this which I've shown you. Don't waste your time because the others will be waiting for the session. Yes, you have to create it like this. You have put up on the screen, give the name as Bangalore, and allocate revenue items yes or no. Just create Bangalore and just give it as control A.
Yeah, ma'am.
Done?
Yeah.
Huh. Now press the escape key once, quit will come.
Yes, ma'am.
Once or again you press the escape key, you come back to the master creation screen. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Until you come back to the master creation screen, keep on pressing escape. Below cost category only, you have cost center there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then you're going to press and select the cost center. Okay. One second. Yeah. So can you see now? Below cost category,
Yes.
you have cost center there. Press enter on cost center. Now category you have to select as Bangalore.
Yeah, ma'am.
Press the
Selected, ma'am.
backspace and Select Bangalore and the name field, give it as, I think, which one we did just now? JP Nagar, right? Correct.
JP Nagar.
So just create as JP Nagar there. So got one reply from Varsha for Vinod. I'll come back to you, Varsha. Give me 2 minutes. Yes. Now after Bangalore, the name field go to create JP Nagar under
Yes, ma'am.
primary only it is. Okay. Control A. Save it.
Yeah, ma'am.
Now see what all steps happen. One step you miss. Okay. So now quickly, what you're going to do is okay. Now slowly press the escape key. You'll come back to that configuration window. Slowly you have to press. Don't go very fast.
Yeah, ma'am. Came to the configuration window, ma'am.
Okay, now can you see that apply cost centers for ledgers?
No, ma'am. Still it's not there.
I think you're going on the wrong one. No, it should come. No, walk. Okay, do one thing. Are you press the escape key? You'll be back in the rent received thing. Correct ledger.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you find that under indirect incomes type of ledger not applicable, and now your cost centers are coming.
Uh, like cost centers are applicable, that option is not there.
Still,
Yeah, ma'am.
or we'll do one thing. Last 5-10 minutes, we just see what's wrong. You do one thing. You
Yes,
pass up the second voucher and come back to that first one at
yes,
every
ma'am.
stage. Okay, let's not waste time because others are also logged. Yes, coming to the second entry. Yes, I got one of the replies. Yes, Varsha says, there's a partner by introducing 6 lakh. Yes, I'll come to you, Julie. He's introducing capital to the business. Maybe the journal entry is credit, debit. Credit is Vinod's account or company's account. Debit, HDFC Bank. Okay. Is it bank or debit to capital account of Vinod? Fine. So ledgers, one set is right, the other set is wrong. Okay, let me explain you the entry. Correct. One set 50% is right. 50% I have to correct it. But good, yeah, I got some good responses from your side. Now, yes, but coming back to the entry, Vinod introduced 6 lakh into the business by issuing a HDFC bank check. Now, Vinod is one of the partners. He is introducing capital into the business. You can consider in this case as the initial or the additional capital. Treatment is the same. Now, the company's bank account is ICICI Bank, okay, which I've already told you that ICICI Bank is a company's bank. Now, Vinod, as one of the partners, he is issuing a check of 6 lakh into the business and he is giving a check of HDFC Bank. Now, the clarity to be taken is now, when I'm receiving payment from Vinod, he is introducing 6 lakh into the business. I have to consider it as a capital because suppose if he is making suppose receiving a payment from him means I can't consider him as a the introduction of capital. It will be something else, the receipt of payment. In this case, that word Vinod introduced 6 lakh. Introduced in the sense that word only will give you the answer that it is a capital introduction. So it is a capital introduction into the business. Usually, what is the journal entry we are going to give? Cash account. Suppose if it is in the cash form, it will be cash account return to capital account. Correct. So which means your credit aspect should be capital. Your credit aspect should be capital account. Either it is Vinod's capital or it is only a capital account. Credit is right for both. Now, when it comes to the debit aspect, how do I consider it as? Now, Vinod is introducing 6 lakh into the business by giving HDFC Bank. Now, I am going to receive a check from Vinod of HDFC Bank, and will I retain it in the same form? No. Whichever check I'm receiving from Vinod, either HDFC or the SBI bank, I have to take the check, go to the bank and have to deposit the same. Now to which bank I'm depositing? Into my company's bank, which is ICICI Bank. So now you tell me what is the journal entry you would give now? Now the credit aspect is very clear that it is credit Vinod's capital account 6 lakhs. Now the debit should be, is it HDFC Bank or is it ICICI? I have given the breakup. We are going to deposit the check into the company's bank. Now the debit aspect should be retained as HDFC or it should be given as ICICI Bank. Credit Vinod's, debit ICICI Bank. Very good. Good, Varsha. So I think I've got the response. It should be debit ICICI Bank. Now, where do I give the clarity that it is a HDFC Bank check? Is it using by HDFC? Correct, but we should deposit in debit. Correct. But where do I give the breakup that I have received a HDFC Bank check? Now, if I give a debit as ICICI Bank, where do I get the clarity of this HDFC check? It will get covered, right? Credit Windows Capital Debit HDFC Bank. We choose check, correct? Very good in the bank name. So I've got fantastic responses. Yes, Varsha and Julie. Yes. So now I think you have come to the clarity that how do I give the breakup? Yes. So now we will put up the voucher. Okay. Yes. So let me come back to the main screen. Yeah. Yeah. So come back to the vouchers, all of you. Yes. Make sure you're in the receipt voucher. Now credit is Vinod's capital account. So now we don't have that Vinod capital, right? In the list of ledgers, we don't have it. So we have to create Vinod's capital. So make sure on the receipt voucher, please check your voucher above. Okay, so the credit aspect, it should be Vinod's capital. I go to the create option and I create as Vinod's capital. Enter, enter. Now Vinod's capital will come under which group? It will come under the group of capital account. And obviously don't activate your cost centers. Okay, there is no branch wise what do you say, discussion I've given here, so don't disturb that feature itself. So Vinod's capital should be created under the group of capital account. Okay, once you create under the group of capital account, press enter or press Control A to save your ledger. And what is the total amount introduced by Vinod? It is 6 lakhs. Type as 6 lakhs and press enter. So you step down to the debit aspect. Now press enter again. You get the list of ledgers. Now here you have to select the company's bank account, which is ICICI Bank. So select ICICI Bank there. Okay. Now this is how you get the company. Still the step 2 is there. Then this is how you get the journal entry. Credit Vinod's capital, debit ICICI Bank. This is the main entry. It's just 2 minutes. That is Right. So let's continue with the entry. Yeah. So this is how your entry should come. Now, moment you press enter, you come to the bank allocation window. Yes. Now here, the transaction type is check or DD. Now since Vinod has introduced 6 lakh into the business by issuing a HDFC bank check, your transaction type should be the check or DD form itself. We are not going to make changes with regard to the transaction type. So what do I do? I'll just head on to the next position by pressing enter. So when I press enter, I go to the amount. And Vinod is introducing 6 lakh into the business. So again, I'll press enter. I come to the instrument number, nothing but your check number. Check number, you can give it as 003148. This is the number of the check which is being issued by Vinod, introduced by Vinod into the business. HDFC Bank check number. Press enter. As I've told you, since we're working in the trial version, let's not disturb the check date. So instrument date, press enter, and we'll come to the bank name. Okay. Now in the bank name, where I've got a couple of good responses, in the bank name you're going to press a space bar, and here you have specified bank name. Okay. I'll repeat again. See, check or DD should be transaction type, it is 6 lakhs. Instrument number you can give it as 003148, because always, whether you take check or DD, they always carry 6 digits. Okay, so then we then need not disturb the instrument date. When you press enter, you come to the bank name, and there you get the list of banks. As I've told you in the trial version, we don't get the list of banks, rather we have to manually type it or mark it as not applicable. We'll go to specify bank name and press enter, and here we are going to give the breakup as I have received a check from HDFC Bank. I, in the sense the company, has received a check of HDFC Bank. Press enter. Yes. So now being capital introduced into the business. Enter. Accept. Yes. So hope all of you have got this entry. So we can move on to the last set of the entry, completing the receipt voucher. Yes. ICICI Bank comes under Rida. ICICI Bank comes under which group, Rida? It has to come under the group of bank
Bank
account.
account.
Yes, it should come under the group of bank account. The first group which you see in the list of groups. Oh, yeah, I think if you've not created it up under the bank account group. If you're still doing, let me know. Otherwise, if you're finished, okay, you can just respond to that so we can go to the last entry. So, Rida, have you got the complete entry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. So, shall we proceed to the last entry then under the C vouchers? Are all of you ready for that? Okay, fine. Done. So, let's go on. Okay, so let me save this entry now. Okay, yes, now I go to the last entry, and the last entry says, yeah, the last entry is a little different from the second one. I've given that we have received SBI check of 16,000 from Priya. company has received SBI check of 16,000 from Priya. Now, in the second entry, it happened as such that Vinod introduced 6 lakh into the business. Now, you tell me the treatment, the accounting treatment for Priya and Vinod is the same. Now, Vinod we created under the group of capital. What about Priya? Do we need to create Priya's ledger under the group of capital account, or what should be your reply? If yes, yes. If no, no. I want the clarity from your side. Please think once, and if you could respond to this, it will be very good. Yes. Now, if I am creating the ledger for Priya, under which group, I'm not talking about the account, group, the list of groups entirely, how would you categorize Priya? Would you categorize Priya also under the group of capital account? Yes? No responses from your side? Yes? Okay, fine. I'll give you the clarity. Now, see here, I've given the company has received an SBI check of 16,000 from Priya. Now, in the previous case, Vinod has introduced 6 lakh into the business by issuing a HDFC bank check. So, what does both mean? Now, in the first case, I've given as introduced 6 lakh. So, it is ultimate answer that it is a capital introduction to the business. But in the second case, we have received a check payment from Priya. I have never given anywhere that Priya has introduced 16,000 into the business. First. Second, company has received a payment from Priya. So Priya cannot be grouped under capital account. So under which group Priya can come? Priya's ledger will be created under the group of sundry debtors. Okay? Under the group of sundry debtors. She is making a payment to the business, okay, of how much? 16,000 rupees. So she is a customer who is making payment to us regarding with regard to the services we have offered her. She has made the payment to us, 16,000. She has payment on spot. So, henceforth, Priya's ledger will not be created under the group of capital, rather, it will be created under the group of sundry debtors. So, here English matters the most. So, you have to carefully observe the entry before framing the complete journal for the same. Okay, so let's start this entry. Now, since Priya is giving us, making us the payment, now we are receiving the payment from Priya. So Priya becomes the giver, right? So, and Priya's ledger is also categorized under the group of debtors. So we have to debit or we have to credit Priya. Priya becomes the source of income for the business. Priya becomes the source of income. So Priya's ledger will be created under the group of debtors and has to be credited, and your debit aspect should be either cash or should be bank. The same treatment like before. Now Vinod has issued a HDFC bank check which we deposit in the company's bank, which is ICICI Bank. So we debit ICICI Bank there. And in the bank allocation screen, there we give as HDFC Bank PIN. Correct. In the same way here also, we credit Priya's ledger, and in the debit aspect we put up ICICI Bank because the same solution. We can't retain the check in the check form itself. Immediately we have to go to the bank and deposit the same. So what happens? Your debit aspect should be ICICI Bank, and in the bank allocation screen in the bank name, there we have to give as SBI Bank, State Bank of India. Okay, so let's proceed this with the same entry. Yes, so let's start. So I'm the last voucher under receipt. So here I don't have the ledger in the name of Priya. So what do I do is I'll go to the create option. Hope it is clear for all of you, or still you have a confusion with regard to the last one. If you have so, you can unmute yourself and you can raise your doubts. If not, I'll proceed with it. I'm already proceeding. Or you can just stop me and you can just ask your doubts in case if you do not have a clarity with the Priya's transaction. Okay, so in the list of ledgers, I go to the create option and there I will create a ledger in the name of Priya. Enter under the group of sundry debtors. Yes. And no cost centers, please. There is no branch clarity there. I mean branch discussion there. So okay, so create Priya's ledger under the group of sundry debtors. Control A. So immediately get the bill wise details. In case if you're not getting, you can type the amount 16,000 and then press enter. You get bill wise details for in few cases. I'll repeat again. In case if you're not getting bill wise details immediately, you come back to that voucher screen, right? And the amount column type as 16,000 and press enter. Immediately you'll come to the bill wise details. Okay. Now the bill wise details mark as on account. This is spot payment what Priya has done. So you can just select there as on account and amount you give it as 16,000 and press enter. End of list. And debit is ICICI. Okay, this is the way your entry should appear. That the check what we have received from Priya, we have deposited in the ICICI bank account. Press enter. Yes, you come to the bank allocation window, and here the transaction type retain as check or DD itself. We're not going to make any changes. Amount is 16,000. Yeah, I come to the instrument number. Okay, please put up the instrument number as 412630. Yeah, this is as a check number, and come to the bank name. So check or DD should be the transaction type. Amount is 16,000. Instrument number is 412630. There is a check number of Priya's check, SBI check number. And the bank name, you're going to press the space bar. And here give us specify bank name again, same way. And here give it as SBI Bank, State Bank of India. So being payment received from Priya towards the, I can put as consultancy services provided. Okay, accept yes. So this you can complete your entry. So this will mark the end of your contra payment and now receipt vouchers. Accept, yes. So I hope all of you have committed all the three entries. Yes. So they did have any issues for the others except the ones who have given the responses. I hope the others also have got the clarity regarding the receipt voucher. Okay, so I'll just give you a short introduction about the journal vouchers. Yes, thank you for the responses. Yeah. Now, after your contra payment and receipt, we have uh, the next accounting voucher as the journal voucher. Okay, right. Yes. So, it's the main person when compared to the others. So, a very important segment, I can say. Now, as I've told you, your F4 discusses about the contra vouchers, which comprises of your cash in bank. If I talk about the payment voucher, to record the payment in relation to your business expenses. Next, receipt voucher, to record the receipt of business source of income. Fourth, when I talk about journal voucher, it records all kinds of entries other than cash. Okay, and this is referred as the adjustment voucher. Okay, now before I discuss the journal voucher, let me give you a final clarity about the journal voucher. Now, all of you would have studied about subsidiary books in your first or second field, right? Subsidiary books, they're nothing but called as special journals, right? Now, we have so many subsidiary books, right? Which are they? We have cash book, we have petty cash book, we have purchase book, we have sales book, we have purchase returns book, we have sales returns book, and we have one more book, a very important book. So can I have the name of it? If you can, if you're able to recollect the name, I want the name of that last important book. Yes. So that book is transformed in the form of a journal voucher before you. Your contra payment receipt will come under the cash book, which records all your cash receipts and cash payments and cash and bank entries. Then, if I talk about your the purchase book, of course, your purchase voucher, you have sales book, your sales voucher, you have purchase returns, you have debit note, sales returns, you have a credit note voucher. But if I talk about that last book only is transformed, as you can see, in the form of a journal voucher. So, can I have the name of that in case if you're able to respond to that? Yes. What is that last book, subsidiary book, which I'm talking of? Which records all kind of adjustment entries which don't find a place in any of the above books. It is also called as the journal, I mean, I can say the residual book. Yes. What is the name of that book which I'm talking of? I gave you the list of all the books, six books. The last important book in your subsidiary books. That is nothing but called as Journal Proper. I hope you remember this name. Journal Proper takes the form of journal voucher in Tally. So, how a journal proper book is used, right, to record all your adjustment entries. What are these adjustment entries? Nothing but those transactions which don't find a place in any of the above books. For example, I've given there below depreciation, appreciation of the assets, then receivables or payables. In simple terms, the credit purchase and the credit sales. Okay, not of the stock items I'm talking of. If I have to record the credit purchase of the stock in trade, I will record in the purchase voucher. Okay, but if I talk about the credit purchase of the assets, I have to go for a journal voucher. Please don't Usually people have, the usual practice of whatever purchase has been made, record in the purchase voucher. Whatever has been sold in the business company, go and record in the sales voucher. No. See, purchase voucher should be used only to record the purchase of stock items, stock in trade, not the assets. If any asset has been purchased for the business, to be used in the business, we have to record them in the journal voucher, not the purchase voucher, because purchase vouchers are inventory based vouchers. So, and if there is a credit purchase of the assets, it has to be recorded in the journal voucher, again, not the purchase voucher. So, receivables and payables. And the last portion, we have given only three, there are a couple of entries. Say, for example, loss of stocks due to, let's say, natural calamities, or there is a fire breakout. In such cases, also, we can use the journal voucher. Next is transfer of funds from one partner to other partner's capital account. So when there is transfer of capital funds, inter-transfer of capital funds, that also we record in the journal voucher. So simple terms, those transactions which don't find a place in any of the above subsidiary books find a place in the last book, the adjustment book, which is called as journal proper. Here in Tally, journal voucher, and the function key associated with that is F7. So F4 contra, F5 payment, F6 receipt, and F7 journal voucher. Okay, so I hope this is very much clear for you. So the entries pertaining to this I will be putting up in your next session, because right now I don't want to start with that, otherwise it will be a very hectic session for you. In case if you have any doubts, you can ask now, or you want what clarity you want, you can put up. You can have that right now. Yes. Yes. So until here, are you clear with the discussion till journal vouchers? So that the next class we can put up your journal vouchers, journal entries in your tally software. Okay. So I hope all of you have got the clarity till here. Right. So be ready for the journal vouchers to be recorded in tally. Fine. So I'll come to the end of the session of today's. As usual, tomorrow we'll start up the session at the same time. Yeah. So log in on time and we can start, okay, as quickly as possible. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.